I look at last 5 to 7 years, the IT executives, about 40+% non-English speakers. Keep that in mind too. The important aspect to me is the ability to enter, engage in a discussion. That could be anything. You need to be able to break the ice. You need to be able to, hey, it's not only the product you're selling, and it's not the only reason you are there. Well, maybe for you, that could be, but you need to show the other side some empathy, engage, and whatever that may be. It may be sport back, okay, for us to be able to expand. I mean, Salesforce is a great example, right? When I used Salesforce first time 18, 19 years ago, it was great product for that small organization. And at that time, they serviced SMB. Well, over time, learning how they can take over Siebel or Oracle, now basically they moved from the SMB space to the next level. But that didn't happen just because of R&D and engineering. It happened listening to what happened, what the customers are asking, what the customers needed. I remember them, but I don't know where they're at.
So to your question, I just want to say one thing. Everyone, these 4 panelists do help someone out, because I reached out to them and they spent their time this evening to share their story.
The MBA program, just highlight your qualities and make sure that you're on top of mind, speak up, and then it just happened. And then I'm here working for Salesforce.
And let me add one thing actually. I always had that vision, a fellow Turkish graduate, helping them, bringing them on board. Around the time I brought him on board, I talked to maybe 2, 3, I introduced you to some of them as well at that time. They were like, I cannot do, the first time, with that experience, you have to start somewhere. That somewhere was compiling data, and
it's really important. And the same thing, I've worked here in the US and then also in Turkey. And it's key to be able to have something you can kind of talk to, just like small talk. And it's difficult when you're not able to do that, because then it immediately becomes a product conversation. And as a salesperson, I generally, when you start sentence 2 that way, it doesn't go well. So language, and learning about common kind of phrases. And
in terms of outsourcing, we are seeing even complicated engineering tasks being outsourced outside the Silicon Valley, because it's darn expensive here, right? So it's hard to do engineering here. Then people would ask questions, why would I keep my sales or marketing teams in around Silicon Valley? And then the other one is automation.
In sales, when you cross that finish line once, it's not over. The next race is already started. So if you like the dynamic nature, that's a great place. That's what I like, that's what I enjoy. Otherwise,
especially in demand generation, data analysis, you launch a program, you measure it. If you don't know how to analyze that data and see what's going on and adjust, it will just die. So I love that part, because I'm very familiar with it. I like to work with it, all this data stuff, which is great. Challenging part, I'm going to throw some ball on this side. It's really sometimes tough to get aligned with sales.
It's a generalization, but it's true for a lot of the tech companies, and I think that risk improves significantly. Making the argument from the flip side, from a healthcare perspective, if you need to spend 10 years in the pipeline with clinical investments and such, I think that the question becomes really for the company in terms of what's the true north. Is it the consumer need, customer need, or is it innovation for innovation's sake? Because there's enough examples out there, again, I don't want to create stereotypes. It's like the sales marketing stereotype, but R&D, they have a great idea. This is just a great product idea with no real customer need or insight. And there are still enough tech companies who can afford that, frankly, because again, the relative cost, incremental cost is relatively low to iterate on a platform. But in pharma or healthcare in general, you're talking about multi-million-dollar investments. That makes it make it or break it for the company for that year total, probably at the end of the day. So I see that convergence a lot more actually in healthcare. I think the real reason is, again, what is true north? Can you even afford to come out with a product that the consumer or the customer doesn't need? You really can't. So I think that's really the hard question for the company. Is what is true north? Is it really the customer need, or is it product as a king? which again, I think Silicon Valley is still kind of going through that transformation, especially for the tech companies.
I think for us, marketing doesn't actually sit with sales. Marketing sits under, we have two CEOs. Marketing sits with product under one CEO, and sales sits with the other one under the other CEO. So in a way, we separated that. And marketing listens closely to customers and feeds that directly into the product teams. The way that we bridge the two is through what we call pipeline councils and pipeline excellence methodology. And that actually sits in what used to be my team, sales strategy. So it's a sort of unbiased team on the side that says, okay, do we have enough pipe?